So I was thinking, uh, while the other video uploads, I was thinking, because this is like playing stereo-ish, kind of like overhead, and yeah, it's got me thinking, like the Behringer multi-zone that I connected in. I can only do so much multi-zone, on the input stage, because I'm going to use the other input stage for the CP750 on the surround output, which will go here. These that I'm adjusting here, they do line input 1, and so they're doing the outputs, so they can go to other, wherever, how you're designing the system, whatever. So I was thinking, all I need to do is, well, I've got no rack space. That depends, because if I put the that in, I'm not saying, hey, CP45s, you're going to be replaced, going to be like, no, but they'll probably have some extra use, maybe a little bit somewhere ahead. I don't know when, I don't know. I make this thing up as I go along. But if I wanted to turn these overheads, like, say, specifically for this sort of like movie, because I just find it a little bit distracting, the stereo. It's not as if it's a bad thing. I just think I can easily set it to mono. Now try doing that on any other AVR or expensive processor. It's easy. All I need to do is have a rack space, connect connect 3 of the. I need 2 of these, so they have a height 1 over here, height 2, and then the second one for height 3, and then just connect all the outputs, the inputs, and then connect the outputs accordingly to where they need to go. And all I need to do is just hit these switches, and that goes them, and then that sends it to mono. It's working well for the surrounds at the moment, because it's got a kind of tweezy kind of pseudo stereo on the surrounds, which is, they should be solid 100% mono. There are other movies where it's literally 100% mono and monaural, but it's got kind of some sort of shifty sort of, I can hear it in the surround, and I find it just a bit distracting. So that's easy. Now I can just hit that switch. But the surrounds, they're on mute at the moment, the regular surrounds. As well as having a multi-zone also, I just like to hit a switch where I could just mute these bloody overheads. Because originally I could have done that through the, there, through the SDS, but I could only put height 1 and height 3 on there. I couldn't put any other channel, so I thought, sod it, and then I undid everything. But if I had one of these in, all I have to do is just turn the bloody volume down on the damn thing, like, turn it down, or level trim it. Yeah, but I could easily do that now that I've been thinking. Boom. These overheads have got a nice bit of bass on it, and they're doing full range. They're not going through the AVR's crossover network. They're not doing any of that sort of. It's like the Enterprise going warp speed there. Just get these very bizarre sort of like, pan sounds, but they're not legitimate. They're, if I wanted to do like an overhead, like I say, my own cocktail version of it, of you have a, like I say, I think I'm kind of doing that. So when these go in, they will be able to, with the design, I should be able to, and maybe with the Behringer multi-mixer, I'll be able to experiment with, say, movies with their mono surround or their split stereo surround. I like old movies now. I don't like this new Atmos rubbish. It doesn't float my boat. It doesn't tickle my fancy. If this whole thing would have been done 20 years ago, if not 20, a little bit more than maybe 24 years or so ago, this could have been all doable. I probably wouldn't be as cynical, and they'd have probably had it more sussed out. Different people, when you got too many chefs, you talk about all these, this group of people, and they're talking about home theatre design, and then they start talking about fancy sport motor cars, fancy watches, and bloody chefs, and all that has got all that in common. It's got something in common. Rich people catering, rich people, and I'm thinking, oh, crying out loud. I thought this is talking about, this. And then it goes on into about 10 minutes about talking about bloody cooking and chefs. Well, you know what the saying is? Too many chefs spoil the broth. And damn well. It's like the arse backward Crown amplifiers I got. They stuff so much into it. It's like too many chef engineers have stuffed so much crap into those amplifiers, and then they only last a couple of years in the field, and everyone's like reporting issues with the blimmin' amplifiers, and then they get discontinued. Oh, it doesn't surprise me. I don't think I would buy another amplifier that's got a load of DSP on it. That's why the last few Behringer amplifiers I bought were just the 3000. I didn't bother with buying the 3000D because I ain't going to use it. I mean, any bass management or any of that division is done here if I want to. Does the same thing. The more crossover, the more DSP crossover there is, the more DSP crossover is the same. the more it crosses over, the more it crossovers the same. Yeah. Only it does it a lot better than a passive crossover, because you've got more flexibility. But it's like they stuff everything into this Atmos program, and it doesn't even deliver true, discrete below surround channel. How can they call it an XYZ 3D bloody sound when it doesn't? Realistically, the sound along the side walls where the speakers are usually placed in an auditorium, dubbing stages, auditoriums, home. They're this position, and then the height speakers, the Atmos speakers, they're up a few feet more. Oh, so the sound's only going, sort of from there up to there and then back down. What about down here on the floor? So if I take this, and throw it, theoretically, it should make a sound when I hear it on the bloody floor. Of course it bloody well does. I didn't break it. I'd have to throw that at a brick wall to break it. But yeah, it makes a bloody sound. Oh, that's surprising, isn't it? Yeah, same thing will happen if I throw something at the ceiling. It makes a sound up there, and then eventually it falls down with gravity and then makes another sound on the floor. wow, that was better than 10 Dolby Atmos movies in a whole year. You can't hear it in the video. So I've done a kind of circle effect, vertical circle effect. That's how I arranged my speakers. So the sound will kind of go up there, and sometimes you get Easter eggs with the overhead, depending on the stereo encoding and that. And Baby Driver's got like a scene in the movie where it's got some anti-phase going, and the music suddenly I'm hearing in the blow surround on the extra channels, extra number 2. Very surprising, very surprising. I'm not sure if the mixers knew what they were doing, or maybe they did. Maybe they got something set up at Twickenham Film Studio. I don't know. Maybe they're kind of putting something in, thinking, hoping someone's going to got the right decoder and then be able to decode it. And that is a simple matrix decoder, because all these overheads are just basic stereo pairs. That's why I got extra speakers there and up there and in the middle. No more center phantom. You know, if I want to put the center phantom back on, I'll just set the SA10s back to normal operating mode. I'll just keep them running in matrix, and then that's it. No more center phantom. I get pinpoint sound, or I can get a sound that spreads across, depending on the signal and how many degrees it's adjusted, and get a nice, yeah. Otherwise, sometimes it's a rubbish Atmos movie, and it's like totally right in the bloody middle. I'm hearing it because it's a mono signal. You adjust the width on the stereo and such. You got on audio mixings and such, and you adjust it. You take it from the wide stereo normal, so you could use for panning, etc. And then you can just bring it in right until the signal just goes mono, or you widen it out ridiculously, and then you get crosstalk sounds going leaking. So if you've got a sound over in the left, it's going to totally a little bit crosstalk over into the right, and vice versa if you widen that out too much. Yeah, these batteries are definitely getting a bit flat. That's why I've got the multimeter, so I'll check, see if I've got any, use every little bit of voltage I can out of the batteries until they're totally flat. I like a good rant. I was also wondering, because the signal's going out into a matrix for these, mixing bullshit. It's a matrix, okay? It's a real pain in the ass, because I would have to put on 3 extra matrix decoders, even though the signal's only coming out of one of the left and right, and then it's going into some sort of matrix, and it's like the zone thing here. It's just duplicating the sound. You only get stereo from side to side. You don't get this panning sound going this way and that way. That only happens with native Atmos encode decode mixes. I'd have thought you would have got that effect. If I wanted to get that effect, that's easy done. I could easily do that. With another using PL2Xs and just experiment and listening to see which part of the circuitry on whether it be the surround output or the rear back surround on the matrix in decoding, and which one does what sound comes in panning, what sound comes in first, and then goes out last. And just figuring it out, and then that's like watching a load of movies and then saying, well, okay, I'm going to have to leave it in this configuration because this configuration seems to work. It's like the blow surround effect that I matrix it myself here. So when they play the movie Unbroken and you've got the aeroplane coming towards the other airplane, it's going it's firing, you know, and it goes like that. And then you got the guy quickly with the film, and then he's going looking downward, you know. But you hear the sound of that aeroplane only going down round on the sides, on the surrounds. But it's essentially going in on a mono sort of sound. It's kind of monoing in phantom center. And so I just figure, okay, like CBS, the centre back surround idea, 1989, my idea. And then, or you call it EX, whatever, you know, Dolby Labs, you know, they like my idea, but they take it, but they don't give me any goddamn credit. Fuck them. So it's just like EX or CBS, centre back surround, and just turning it around and upside down and back to front. And just saying, all right, I'm not going to have it there because I can use another matrix decoder to do that, you know, because it's Atmos and it's all discrete channeling. Oh, I'll just configure it so it goes underneath my seating, and it works. It works pretty well, you know. When you got something I think that works pretty well, I don't think really advertise it to, you know, the public, you know, public now really don't care too much, you know. If they tried experimenting a little bit, you know, some cinema operators or whatever, you know, and kind of thinking, yeah, he's kind of right, you know. Yeah, maybe we should just tinker with it. Fuck what the director says with the intent and all that. Bloody hell, and Dolby Labs bloody intent specific. If that was a spec, they would have had a bloody true discrete below surround. End of. That's it. Then this whole thing has got nowhere else more or less to go. That's it. Unless you want to put speakers at specific angles on this, you know, because when you listen to Pink Noise, you often hear its directionality sometimes. When it's a sine wave tone and such, it's very awkward to know what the direction is. But when it's Pink Noise, you can say, oh yeah, it's that about that angle, or oh, it's kind of shifting down. You know, oh almighty, it's so easy to figure it out. Oh, but can a £45,000 Trinnov do any of that below surround? You have to add on an extra box. It doesn't come built in, you know. And they just seem to add on more blooming, I think a few more overhead surrounds, I think it could do like 4 overhead or 5 overhead. What am I thinking of? A Dolby CP850 and the mapping renderer box that you add on, and then add on another one and another one, and then you can do up to 128 bloody channels or something. And you're just doing more the bloody same. Seems like a bloody waste, if you ask me. Why don't they just, you know, trade off some of these overheads, right, or whatever, and just use them for below surround as well? Job done. Yeah, job done. You know, like hearing the sound overhead, you know, if I were to put it through the actual matrix surround sound round output, it would have a totally different, and I would be liking it, because it would be like probably say seeing the movie at Odeon Screen 1 or Odeon Screen 2, even though Paramount Pictures wouldn't have had those movies playing at that cinema, because they played in the other cinema down the road, because they were usually reserved for Paramount, Universal Pictures, Warner Brothers, Orion, or some other distributor. And the Rank, or Odeon Rank, whatever, they usually handles things like 20th Century Fox, Disney, oh gosh, MGM, I think, MGM, yeah, they handled certain, and oddly, they did have the Towering Inferno for a little while, because it seemed a very popular movie during 1974-75 when it was playing for many months. And I saw it at the Tower in Screen 2 at the ABC, and then months later or so, walking down road, might have been a weekend I think, and I noticed the poster, and it was outside. I think on the left, I can't really remember, it was on the left side or the right side of the cinema on the front entrance, because usually the left side, if the poster was there, that would be for screen number 2, and then if the poster was over on the right side, it would be for screen number 1, I think. It's confusing sometimes, but I think, yeah, it played there for a little while, but I didn't see it. I only saw it once at the ABC. But it would have been cool to see it. If it would have been in the Cinerama curve upstairs, that would have been cool. But yeah, sometimes, yeah, that's usually how films usually, they usually get shown. But now, today, multiplexes, they show just about, any. Or home cinemas, they can show just about any, including Laserdisc and VHS tape. Don't need a Kaleidoscope box. How much does that cost? Ridiculous. I don't need a box like that. I don't want a store movie. I want it physical. Just to be physical, gotta keep it physical. I've got VHS tapes I could still probably pull out somewhere and play them. And gosh, my gosh, they're still right. They still play. I haven't played them in decades. It still works. But all this digital rubbish, eventually it just seems to go cockeyed and breaks down. I don't know what the deal is with a Kaleidoscope. Buy a movie, download it onto the box. But most of these movies, are rubbish. Even if it's new ones, like Star Trek 2. It's a goddamn remix. Because it's not like, well, I think you can take your disc and burn it onto the thing, but it doesn't interest me. I don't want to do that. Bloody hell, I'll be spending months putting all the bloody movies on, and then what? I get rid of them? Good heavens, no. No, I'm not going to get rid of them. Damn thing breaks down. Yeah. Oh, here's the thing now. Then I need to get that pressing, that release out of print, and it's very difficult because you look at the artwork and then it looks similar. You buy it and then it's like, oh damn, this other botched version they bloody remixed, and they reduced all the bass on it, for God's sakes. They filtered it. And then you got to look for right, so it'd be a early 2000 release print, and you got to look for that release print. It's like Star Trek V, The Voyage Home. No, Star Trek V, The Final Frontier. Star Trek The Final Frontier. Best version is on the first release DVD. All the other versions have got bass filtering going on. I don't know why. And then it gets to the Blu-ray. Oh my goodness. And then they botched up all the dialogue panning on it. Oh God. Right up to the bloody 4K. So it's just a big bloody scam conspiracy by the studios to milk the bloody movie until, they've made enough money on it, and then now they're going to release a proper version. What a load of bullshit. Don't fool me for a moment. And here's the other thing. If you use a matrix decoder, or an upmixer, bullshitter,
Was that a phone?
if I was switching it on and off, I should notice a slight decreasement in the left and right screen channels. Because if you have a matrix decoder on and you switch it on and then go back to stereo and then on, or you notice the difference in what sounds are being extracted and what are being put in place. And yeah, I don't notice that because I think it's wired the other way round. Yeah, kind of backward if you ask me. And this isn't by far a best version. There is no best version really of Star Trek 2 because it's got a faulty sound, slight track missing on stage right, and that hasn't been fixed or replaced or whatever. They haven't bothered. They haven't bothered. They haven't bothered with it. Always bothers me where the sound just goes a little bit too high over on stage left. Just goes a little bit too high there on the score. I seem to remember at the Empire Leicester Square it was a bit more consistently balanced across the screen channels, and very, 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 very bass heavy. I mean bloody bass heavy. Bass heavy. I'll tell you, it put most home theatres into shame. And even when it comes up to this bit there, God, was that rumbling? It was just pressing against my body. It was just pressing. So there's quite a bit of bass in this scene, and it just literally pressing, like. And then as it gradually then moves, the bass rumble was getting like it was just a rumble there, and then hit, and then mildly goes down, and then until the rest of the bass comes up in the score, and it just pressing against the body. Now, what is he up to? I swear my cat's getting drugs out of a cupboard somewhere and taking drugs. Because he's, Wow. You little bugger. Why don't you go and play with Magic? No, on second thought, done. No, I don't want him playing with me. He doesn't like me. Yeah. Oh, Bear, you're getting a bit fat round there, I think. You're getting a little bit. Got like one of those things like a bunny rabbit has. Oh, yeah. Oh, what? You need a scratch? You need a scratch? How's that? Well, you need to tell me where, you know? You need to tell me where you need the scratching, and, you know? It's not like you can easily get to, or you just want a massage. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Oh, are you jealous? I'm not getting any. Yeah. Beautiful boys. Give me a kiss. Give me a kiss.